Hey YouTube, this is Brian here. I'm going to be doing the final two entries on my top 10 WAR countdown, wins above replacement throughout baseball history. This is meant as a small introduction to sabermetric stats or advanced stats, and it's also meant to cover in order the list of players from throughout history, whether they be accused of steroid usage or whether they be from the dead ball era or the 1800s, or whether they were accused of something that got them banned, like Shoeless Joe Jackson or Pete Rose. Um, any of that kind of stuff. I'm not really here to get into controversy of why people should be banned from an ethical perspective, and like why we should keep them out of the Hall of Fame. I'm not here to really talk about that kind of stuff. I'm just here to talk about, in order, the top 10 WAR, and this is as of baseballreference.com. And the final two players that we're going to be talking about are actually going to be players from way far back. These are players who were born in the 1800s. And I think that part of the reason that they've been left out of the Hall of Fame for so long and so overlooked is because the game has changed a lot. There's been desegregation, there's been new teams added, teams have changed their names, parks have shrunk to a much smaller size. Pitchers pitch a lot less innings. So they were practically playing a different game, than the players today are. The players that we're watching on television today are playing a different game than guys like Jim McCormick, who's number 9 on this list. Um, he was born in 1856. He actually had a career WAR of 76.2, so he was quite successful even though he's from a long time ago. He was the first person who was born in Scotland to appear in a major league game. After his pitching career, where he was, by the way, in the top 50 in almost every statistic pitching wise measurable of all time, he went on to a managing career a little bit less successfully. He had a sub 500 career as a manager. He was like 76 wins and 96 losses. But if you look at any pitching statistic from within his lifetime, he pretty much was in the top 50 or even higher, of those kind of stats. ERA, wins, whip. There's just a lot of places that you can find his name. He was definitely, if you look at guys like Kershaw and Bumgarner today, he was definitely kind of like that and then some back then, because he was definitely one of those dominant guys who you could find anywhere. Kind of like how you find Felix Hernandez or Clayton Kershaw. Um, I think that this guy was definitely one of the most overlooked non-inductees of the era. He had a career 2.43 ERA, and he also led the NL in ERA. Yeah. Number 10 on our list is going to be a guy named Bill Dolan. He played shortstop and third base. He was born in 1870. He had a career 75.4 career WAR. He was considered in 2013, but he fell actually 2 votes short of induction. He had a bad temper. He was actually ejected in the top 10 figure of all time for managers. And that still remains and holds up today. He was known for his temper amongst the entire population of the game. He had a nickname, which I'm not remembering off the top of my head. I'm sorry. He won the World Series in 1905, and he actually had a hitting streak in not 1984. He would have to be like 115 if he lived that long. He had a hitting streak in 1894 that remains one of the longest in National League history today. I think it's the fourth longest for a right-handed hitter in National League history today. I think it's pretty impressive how that's held up. Again, that guy's name is Bill Dolan, and this is the top 10 people in terms of WAR who have not been inducted into the MLB Hall of Fame. I think that it's a fun thing to watch every year, um, but at the same time, it's not really entirely democratic, you know. So I think that they should at look at the more advanced stats when they're inducting players, um, make it a little more democratic, and then they'll probably solve the problem of a lot of these guys who are, buried in unmarked graves and completely neglected by the baseball community, and they've been left out of the Hall of Fame, and they're on the list. They're up there with guys who have that little cross next to their name that mentions that they are a Hall of Famer and they have been inducted. They might be sandwiched between two guys who have, like 86.3 WAR, and then this guy has 82 WAR, and then the next guy is also inducted with 81 WAR. I think that they should really look into sabermetrics, rather than this emotional kind of way that they've been inducting people in recent years. I think that that would get a lot of these guys who kind of their personalities almost have kept them out. That would get a lot of these guys who have accomplished a lot within the game and brought us countless memories in the World Series and in the postseason. I think it would bring them into the place where they really deserve to be honored. So thank you for watching. There will be more guitar, more baseball, and the like in the future. So thank you for watching. I love you guys. I'm out.